Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into 3 real and seriously creepy school reunion stories that have been shared from all across America. Let's get into it. My 10-year high school reunion was coming up. I didn't want to go, but my friends told me I should. They said it would be fun. The reunion was in August, on a Saturday. It was planned by people from our class. It was at a fancy hall in a good area. I had not seen most of them in 10 years. I still talked to only a few friends from school. I didn't like many people from back then. I didn't want to make small talk with everyone. But I also didn't want to miss out. All my friends were going. I felt like I had to go too. When the day came, I drove to Maria's house. Amelia and Luna came too. We were all meeting there. We had a few drinks and laughed. Then we called an Uber to the party. The reunion started at 8. We got there at 9. It was busy when we walked in. Right away, I saw so many faces I knew. Everyone looked a little older. There were about 80 to 100 people there. I was surprised by the big crowd. Being with my friends helped. I said hi to people I hadn't seen in a long time. The room had loud music, flashing lights, and a DJ. It was like a party. I thought it would be quiet and more about talking. People were getting really drunk, my friends too. We sat at a table with other girls from high school, about 10 of us. As time passed, everyone got up to talk and walk around. I sat alone, eating. I noticed a guy at another table. He was looking at me. When we made eye contact, I looked away, but I could feel his eyes still on me. I looked again. Yes, he was still staring. Then he got up and walked over to me. He sat beside me and smiled. "Hi, I'm Connor," he said. "I saw you and had to come say hi." He was not bad looking. I was sitting alone anyway, so I didn't mind. I said, "I don't remember you. Did you go to our school?" He nodded. "Yeah, I joined in senior year." I said, "Who do you know here?" He said he was friends with a couple guys, only gave first names. I guessed the last names and he smiled and said yes. We talked for a while. He made me laugh. Then he asked for my number. He said he had to go back to his friends. I gave him my number. Then he walked away. I sat there alone again. I finished my food and drink. Then I got up to find my friends. They were all drunk, talking to different people. I went to Maria. She was in a group talking. I joined them. I felt tired. Kind of wanted to go home. Then my phone buzzed. It was a message from Connor. He asked, "Do you need a ride home? I'm leaving now." I wrote back, "Yes, please." He told me to meet him in the lobby. I looked around, too many people, didn't want to say goodbye to everyone, so I left quietly. I saw Connor waiting by the door. We walked to his car. It was a black 2-door. I don't know much about cars. He asked me to type my address into his phone. I did. As we drove, he gave me a water bottle. He said, "Drink this. Water helps with hangovers." I took a few sips. It tasted normal. Then my phone started going crazy. Kaya was calling. Amelia and Luna were texting in our group chat. I didn't answer. I just read the texts. They asked, "Where did you go?" "Who are you with?" Maria said, "Check the reunion Facebook group." Then Amelia sent a screenshot. It was a warning. A girl had posted saying, "Some guy is here. He's not from our school. He keeps changing his name when talking to girls." I froze. Maria called. I didn't pick up. I just texted, "I'm with a guy named Connor." She replied in all caps, "That's him. Someone saw you leave with him." I felt sick. I looked at him. I started thinking. The water, my head, my stomach. Was something in that drink? I knew I had to get out. Next red light, I would run. We stopped. I opened the door. "I gotta go," I said. I jumped out and ran, fast. I ran into the parking lot of a TGI Fridays. He didn't chase me. He just drove away. I called Kaya right away. I told her where I was. She said they would Uber there and pick me up. I waited in that parking lot for 20 minutes. By then, I felt strange, heavy. I think he put something in the water, but I didn't drink much. Thank God. The worst part? Now he had my home address. We all stayed at Maria's house that night. The next morning, I went home. Then came a knock on my door. I froze. I peeked through the window. It wasn't him. It was my neighbor. I opened the door. He asked, "Do you know a guy who came to your apartment last night?" He was looking in the windows. I told him everything. He looked shocked. He said when I asked him who he was, he said he was looking for Miranda. I thanked my neighbor. He told the guy, "You have the wrong place," and the guy left. That lie may have saved me. When my lease ended, I moved to a new apartment, still in the same area, but safer. I'm glad my friends messaged me in time. If they hadn't, I don't even want to think about it. That man could still be out there, watching, waiting, looking for someone else to believe his name is Connor. And this time, he might not fail. My high school does 5- and 10-year reunions. My 5-year reunion was a few years ago. My high school was kind of small, with around 200 students in each grade, so almost everyone knew everyone, at least a little bit. For the 5-year reunion, it was being held at a small banquet hall in town. I was excited to go and see all my old friends I hadn't seen in years. Of course, showing up to these things alone can feel scary, so my friend Leah and I planned to go together. Leah has been my best friend since middle school. She knows everything about me, and I know everything about her. That includes the stuff I went through with a boy named Brandon. Brandon was someone I had a little history with. We hooked up a few times during senior year, but he started acting weird and obsessed real fast. When I cut him off, he got mad and started threatening me. He sent scary texts, like saying he knew where I lived and when my parents wouldn't be home. One night, he even came to my parents' house and threw rocks at my window. My dad had to go outside and chase him away. After a while, I guess Brandon got tired of bothering me and stopped. Brandon used to hang out with this group of kids in school who were kind of different. Not the athletes, not the goth kids, just a weird group. Once people found out how he was acting, a lot of them didn't like him anymore. I really hoped he wouldn't come to the reunion. Leah and I got to the place where the reunion was happening and walked around saying hi to people. There were about 50 people there at the busiest time, which was pretty good for our small class. At some point in the night, I felt a tap on my shoulder. It was Brandon. My heart dropped when I saw him. He said, "Hey, can we talk?" That was the first thing he said to me after all those years. I said something like, "Hey, I hope you're doing okay, but there's really nothing to talk about," and I tried to walk away. He grabbed my shoulder and turned me around. He said, "You're already going to act like that?" I pushed his hand off and said, "Let go of me." He looked around kind of nervous and said, all right, then walked away. I could tell he didn't want anyone to see or make a scene, but now the night felt ruined for me. I had to avoid looking at him or going anywhere near him. I saw him talking to one of the guys he used to hang around in high school. Then I started talking with Leah and a few other girls about what just happened with Brandon. They all agreed he had always been a creepy weirdo and had heard stories about him being aggressive with girls. Strangely, I didn't see him again after that. Maybe he left early. That made me feel better. Leah and I stayed for a few more hours, then left with a few other girls and went to a small bar nearby. After another hour, Leah drove me home. As I was walking up to my front door, I saw another car drive past Leah's car and keep going down the street. Because it was so late and the street was so quiet, it felt a little suspicious. It was a Jeep Cherokee. Maybe I was just being paranoid. But the next day I looked up Brandon's Instagram. His account was private. I have a fake Instagram I use for things like this, so I used that to follow him. He accepted the request. I checked his posts, but didn't see any pictures of a Jeep or any car. That made me feel a little better. I live alone, so my biggest fear was that Brandon would find out where I live and come to my house again. Then the next day, Brandon messaged me on Instagram. It was a long message trying to convince me to meet up with him. Even after all those years, he was still giving off obsessive, creepy vibes. I blocked him right away, but I didn't know what that would lead to. That same night, I woke up to the sound of my doorbell ringing, over and over. It was 1 a.m. I just knew it had to be Brandon. I was terrified. My parents live in Florida now, so I didn't have my dad to help this time. Then the doorbell ringing turned into loud, angry pounding on the door. It was so loud, it echoed through my apartment. He kept pounding and ringing the bell over and over. Finally, I went to the door and it stopped. I peeked out the little window at the top of the door, but no one was there. That night, I slept with one eye open. The next day, my friend's dad helped me out. He contacted a detective friend he knew in town. The detective came to my apartment, looked at the old messages and the new DM Brandon sent, and took photos of everything. Then he got in touch with Brandon and gave him a verbal warning. If he tried to contact me again, it would be considered stalking and harassment. So far, that warning worked, but it made me wish I had gone to the police back when everything first started. Some people are just dangerous and don't ever change. I really, really hope he's not at the 10-year reunion. I was seeing this girl for a few weeks. We'd been on 2 dates. Her name was Vanessa. We matched on a dating app and eventually met a few days later. She was 4 years older than me. Our first date was just drinks, and our second date, we went out with my friends on the weekend. My friends had kind of neutral opinions about her. They said she was nice and maybe a little too quiet. They'd later tell me what they really thought about her, but I'll get to that. Vanessa invited me to her upcoming high school reunion party. She said she didn't want to go alone, and honestly, since she came out with my friends and me, I felt like I kind of owed her. The party was on some random Saturday in the fall. It wasn't officially organized by her school, though. She told me some rich guy from her class put it together, and it was happening at his house. I haven't had my high school reunion yet, but I always imagined those were held in bars or event halls or something. We got to this guy's house, and it was definitely a fancy house. Gated driveway, big place, but weirdly no luxury cars out front or anything. I figured maybe the guy parked in the garage, but the moment we walked into the house, I felt weird. It felt like everyone was staring at us, or more like they were staring at me. A few people came up to Vanessa and hugged her, then immediately turned to me and started asking all kinds of questions. And not like casual stuff, like deep, weirdly personal questions. Where I live, what I do, who I live with. Eventually, Vanessa pulled us away, but only to go talk to more people. And they were also asking me super personal stuff. The whole thing was just off. Another thing, everyone looked older than 28, which is how old Vanessa told me she was. Some of these people looked well into their 30s. I made a comment to her about that, and she laughed and said, "Yeah, some of these people aren't aging too well." I asked her if she remembered all these people. She said yes. Then I asked who the party host was. I was curious to meet the guy who owned the house. She said she hadn't seen him yet, and the whole time I was there, I never saw this host guy. I can't even explain how uncomfortable it got. The way people kept watching me, no music playing. Everyone dressed strange, not like a group of 20-somethings at a reunion. The more I looked around, the more I realized none of these people looked like they were in their 20s. I was getting really uncomfortable. I told Vanessa I was going to use the bathroom. Truth is, I just needed to get out of that room. I didn't have a drink in my hand. I wasn't holding anything to help blend in. I was just awkwardly walking around this giant house, getting stares from everyone I passed. Saying I felt out of place is an understatement. I found the bathroom, stepped inside, even though I didn't need to go, and locked the door. I just sat there, tried to breathe, and gave myself a break from how uncomfortable everything felt outside. I texted my friends, telling them how weird this reunion was and asking how I could convince Vanessa to leave early. We'd only been there like 30-45 minutes, and still, the mysterious host. No sign. Vanessa texted me, "Where are you?" I replied, "In the bathroom. Give me a minute." Then I followed that with, "This party is really weird. I'm down to leave soon." She said, "Why?" I said, "Everyone's being weird." Then someone knocked on the door. I couldn't sit in there forever, so I quickly washed my hands and stepped out. The guy standing outside, he looked younger than most of the people there. He leaned in and said in this low voice, "You should leave. That girl isn't who she says she is." I froze. I said, "Vanessa?" He replied, "Whatever she told you her name is." Then he asked, "What did she say this party was?" I told him, "A high school reunion." He just smirked and said, "Do these people look like they're at a high school reunion?" Then he added, word for word, "Trust me, leave, sooner than later." And with that, he went into the bathroom and shut the door. I stood there frozen for a second. I thought about knocking to ask him more questions, but no, he confirmed what I'd already been feeling. Something was off about all of this, so I made a choice. I walked straight to the front door, trying not to draw attention, but I still felt all those eyes watching me as I moved through the house. I walked right out to my car, got in, and drove home. Vanessa texted me, "Where'd you go?" I didn't answer. When I got home, I looked up her number on White Pages. It didn't come back as Vanessa. The name listed was Claire Foster. Even the address I had picked her up from, both times, it didn't match what came up on the search. And that's when I realized I never saw her come out of that house. She was already waiting for me on the sidewalk, both times. I finally texted her, "I had to leave, I'm sorry," and I blocked her number. Later, my friends all told me they thought she seemed strange and off from the very beginning, but didn't want to make me feel bad. One of them even joked that the whole thing sounded like I was in the movie Get Out. Now, my friends and family all have different little theories about what was going on. Some people thought I was making it sound more dramatic than it really was, until I told them about the fake name, the address, and that random guy who told me to leave sooner than later. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more creepy real-life stories. And if you have a scary or strange story of your own, send it to the email down below in the description. Your story might be featured in the next video.